This is Doug Scheiding, the Rogue Cookers, Texas Embedded Correspondent. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. Welcome aboard. You found the Barbecue Central Show. We talk about barbecue and grilling type items for 2 hours on Tuesdays from 9 to 11. If you missed the first hour, fear not. I am recording as we do this live show on Tuesdays from 9 to 11, and the first hour will be released on Wednesday. You will get the second hour on Thursday. I'll tell you about the best of show here in just a moment. Hey, if you are looking for a remote thermometer up to 6 inputs, Fireboard is what you want. Fireboard.com is the website. 816-945-2232. And if you have Google or the Alexa, Google Assistant or Alexa, it is fully integrated with both. And you can load out with up to 6 different internal meat probes if you want, or you can mix it up and have a couple different ambient temperature probes, and then the balance being the internal meat probes or a mix of however you want it. Fireboard.com is the place to go. I use mine all the time. It's absolutely fabulous. Plus, it's got the great app, hooks to your local area network. You can also watch it graph on your laptop, computer, or tablet. This is the one you want. A lot of other things out there. It's a little expensive, but as I say in the barbecue world, buy the best and only cry once. You're not complaining after I told you to go buy your Thermapen. You sucked it up. You spent the $85. Now you're like, oh, you know it all, Rippy. Of course, I'm here to give you the right information. Fireboard is also there. All right, still to come on this show, the Embedded Correspondents segment. We have a Barbecue Central Show exclusive Hall of Fame guest class of 2019. What does that mean? The Barbecue Central Show typically has guests on its show every Tuesday. Last year, we decided we would start a Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Fame. We put in a real... Oh, I was about ready to torture the English language like you've never seen. We put in a bunch of people in 2018. We actually did it in categories, which was kind of a nose up to a particular organization back in the day. We did recurring guest, semi-recurring guest, and one-off guest, and we put a bunch of folks in. That's the way you start a Hall of Fame. You just push a whole bunch of people in. Good base developed. Now, as we move into the second year and then subsequent years after that, 5 total people will be getting in. As long as you have been an interviewee on the show, rest assured you have a 100% chance of potentially being nominated. Once you're nominated, you have to make the cut on making it into the final 5. Here in the efforts of transparency,
a Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
That's right. This is Greg Rempe reporting at the breaking news desk here in Cleveland, Ohio. And I will reveal who is on the Barbecue Central Show Guest Hall of Fame nominating committee. It also happens to be the Embedded Correspondents and Stover. That's right. And me. This is not up for debate. These are not running terms. These are the people that I picked and who I have the most regular communication with. If you want to write in your own Barbecue Central Show Guest Hall of Fame nominations, I am happy to take them. They are not going to be considered. I don't want to make any bones about it. feel free to give me your feedback. I am not going to use it.
Andrew, you are not.
Not going to use it. So, where was I now? I got lost in everything. My head was abuzz there with a whole bunch of stuff. So, those are the six total people that make up the nominating and voting committee. As it sits right now at 10:05 Eastern, okay, we have 4 of the 5 locked down. However, the 5th one, not so easy. So through our own generation of 5 nominees, so I nominated 5 folks, Doug nominated 5, David 5, Stover 5, John 5, Steve 5. We have a list of what would then make up, obviously, of 6 people. Is that 6 people? Me and John and Steve and David and Doug and Stover. 6. That's 30 nominees. I did that math in my head. So basically, as long as your name gets put in, 2 or 3 different times by 2 or 3 different folks, there's a good chance you're going to be in the class that year. Except in its second year or the first year without category or anything, we are running up against the fact that we were unable to unanimously pick a 5th person to go into the Barbecue Hall of Fame, the Barbecue Guests Hall, the Barbecue Central Show's Guest Hall of Fame. That's what I'm saying. So because it's my show and because talking and arguing is what we do best, especially in the second hour on the 4th Tuesday, we are going to do it live.
We'll do it live.
We are going to do it live.
Do it live.
We will do it live.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
In 30 minutes from now, in 10 minutes from now, we will do it live. We will announce our own 5. We will announce the 4 in, and then we will argue for a 5th that we will have to come to a majority's decision on. And it is going to be absolutely fantastic. And then we will have our class of 2019, the Barbecue Central Show Guest Hall of Fame class of 2019. I'm going to tell you right now, there might be some surprises that are already in there. I know for a fact there are surprises that are already in there. You're not going to believe. So good. All right, I just want to finish up with a few more items on the Hartville Hardware weekend this past. It's experiences like these where, from my standpoint, you can see which presenters know their stuff. I'm talking about live demos now. Which presenters know their stuff and which ones are coming for a check. Rule number 1 of the show, no names, please. But 2 of the 3 live demo folks should not be doing that kind of thing as it relates to the barbecue and grilling community. I'm sure at their regular places of work, they are more than competent. But in this setting, it was a bit shocking. When I'm the MC of the event and there are presenters or live demonstrators, I know how each individual one is going by how much I have to carry the time. Basically, the less of me talking and interacting, the better overall the demo is going. In 2 of these cases, I was really helping eat the time up. Or in another case, I was actually wrapping up the presenter because there appeared to be no end in sight. And there was another demo that had to go on at the bottom of the hour, and her cooker was raging out of control. And I had to come from the back of the tent up to the front and adjust her cooker. Wowee. However, let me tell you this. If you are ever in a position to hire a presenter that is an expert in the barbecue and grilling world, or if you ever have a chance to see her demo in class, Danielle Bennett, a.k.a. Diva Q, is going to be worth every red cent. She demoed reverse seared steaks, the first demo, and barbecue ribs, the second demo, both presentations full of information. But the way it's presented, the engagement with the crowd, the ability to work off the cuff, the whole deal was incredible to both be a part of and to fan out and watch from the back as well. It was the easiest part of my day. The tent was filled for both presentations. Perhaps she's easy to write off because she was originally from Canada, or she's not a man, or she hasn't won enough GCs to your liking, or whatever axe you have to grind when it comes to DBQ. Whatever that may be. But I'm here to tell you, she is a professional. She is engaging. She is incredibly knowledgeable and hardworking. And the bottom line is she walks it. Period. She doesn't talk it. She walks it. Period. I got to spend a few moments after the day had wrapped up before I headed west out to Tiffin, Ohio to take in some Seton Hill University volleyball. And we spoke about a few other items. And while I will never reveal what the content of those stories entail, I am here to tell you that she is one of the strongest people, and quite honestly, maybe one of the best people I have ever come to know over the years of covering this industry. Danielle, I had a great time this past weekend, and I hope that your schedule works out for next year, because I'm going to make sure that my schedule works out next year, and we will blow it up again in Hartville in 2020, and you can book it. Book it. I'm telling you right now, if you have the chance to hire her, if you are looking for somebody to do this, if you have a live demonstration need for barbecue and grilling, you have to get in touch with her. Now, I haven't been around every single presenter ever on the face of the earth, but I know good and I know bad, and I saw both, and she is great. She is somebody that would add value and motivate and inspire. She's really good. Really good. Really good. Anyway, just wanted to wrap up on that. And we have the Embedded Correspondents coming up out of this segment. Come on. 2019 Barbecue Central Show guest class. 2019 Hall of Fame class for the Barbecue Central Show guest. You know, it's really not easy to say. The 2019 Barbecue Central Show Guest Hall of Fame class to be bantied about in a short few. I will raise them on this here horn, and we will be back. Stick around.
Show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue, a man actually named Meathead, the author of a barbecue Bible, bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, this portion of the show being brought to you by Smithfield. That's right, you signed up for the Smokin' with Smithfield National Barbecue Championship. Maybe it's too late. Maybe it's too late. SmokingWithSmithfield.com has all of the details that you might need. Look at these dopes. Go ahead, make fun of me all you want. SmokingWithSmithfield.com is the place to go if you are ready to find out where you rank against all competitive barbecue teams across the country. Visit the same website, SmokingWithSmithfield.com. And there we go. All right, it is the fourth Tuesday of the month. We have a lot to talk about, so let's immediately get after it. And we welcome back the evidently very angry Barbecue Central Show Embedded Correspondents. Gentlemen, welcome into the show. And let's see here. John, are you there or just not on camera? John? Hello, John?
I am here. I can see myself on camera.
I got you. There you go. Well, this is very unique, so I have to figure out. Steve has blurred himself out totally, which, from a guest's viewing standpoint, Steve, we all applaud that. Steve, quit trying to mess around with your goddamn technology. Get the blur away, and let's just see it for Christ's sake. I mean, everybody's got to be so fucking cute on this show. Get the blur away. Let's see you, and let's get after it. For crying out loud. John, you tell these people that they can do all this stuff, and then they think they're magicians. And now look at Steve. Can't get the goddamn camera off of blur. He can't do it. God damn it. This is unbelievable. Steve, can you take the blur off, please? Is it possible? All right, Steve is hung up. Thank God. Steve left. Thank you.
Greg, you know what Steve's feed looks like?
No, I don't.
It looks like trying to watch free porno in the 90s.
Yes! I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean? That's what I mean. All right, so Steve, I can admit it. Steve, are you there or no? Or did you leave? Steve left? All right. Steve will be back. Don't worry about it. All right. So, guys, we have a couple different topics to talk about this evening. And the first of which may take a large portion of our evening here tonight. All right. So, let's see. Might be coming back in. All right. Never we'll work with it. That is the 2019. Oh, God. It's so hard to say. The 2019 Barbecue Central Show class of. The 2019 Barbecue Central, 2019 Barbecue Central Show Guest Hall of Fame class. Oh my God, we got to come up with a better name for this thing. The more I talk about it, the more I hate myself. Last year was the inaugural class. We put in a whole bunch of people, but this year it's only going to be 5. We have 4 locked in right now, and we are going to have to conversate about our 5th one. So let's start this way. If all the audience members want to go ahead and start keeping track like we're getting into the overall calls at a barbecue competition, certainly up to you, but let's do this. Let's start with Doug Scheiding, the longest-running embedded correspondent. Doug, give me your 5 nominees. Because let me reset up again. Every embedded correspondent and Stover was able to nominate 5 guests that they thought should be in the Hall of Fame. Then they submitted to me. Then I went through very quickly and found out who was getting multiple nominations. Those people were making it in. There happened to be 4. There's a 5th one that we're going to talk about. That's what I mean. All right, so Doug, talk to me about your 5 and why.
Okay, my first one, which came immediately to mind, and I'm surprised that we didn't get him in last year, is Darren Worth of Iowa Smoky D's. He is, in my mind, he is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. I think he's won just about everything except Memphis in May, and he's all done it all on tenderness and mustard and ketchup, as he says. So I think he's an automatic shoe-in. Michael Simon, he's the whale. You finally got his interview. Yes, it was only one interview, but you finally got it, and it was a good interview. So I recommend Michael Simon based on his one interview that you got. Angel Todd, we had the unlucky position of going after her after she got in on that first segment, the open segment, usually 9 to 9:14, and she was fantastic. I hope she does as well in her other competitions. It'd be interesting to get an update on her, but I think her normally the under 20 people that have come on the show, the younger kids, yep, they haven't done well. They always answer yes, no. They don't really go into explanations, and it was good to kind of hear her naivety to a little bit, but her enthusiasm and how she wanted to do this and all the things she had going on. My other 2, I actually went to the old guys list. I thought we needed to, in the same way we bash the other organization. There's some old guys that I think need to be in. And so I whittled the list down from 4 to 2. My first one was Fred Bernardo.
Oh, yeah. The smoking guitar player.
I actually liked him. He was entertaining.
Yes.
He had some online. He was probably my first online videos that I watched when he had some of his online educational, be it good or bad. But he was always entertaining, and I enjoyed his episodes on the Barbecue Central show. He was on 14 times. Now, the other one, I went a little different direction, and Kevin Bevington. Number 1, he's an accomplished barbecue cook. Was he the Florida Cook of the Year? Or,
look, let me make sure that we're all aware of who Kevin Bevington is here, Doug. I don't want to step on your toes here. But
okay,
Kevin
sure.
was a former FBA president for a number of years. He was team of the year in FBA for 4 years in a row. 4 years in a row.
I knew it was at least one.
Also, in conjunction with the years that he was blowing everybody's doors off in the FBA, he was routinely in the top 10 overall KCBS Team of the Year points race as well. There was one specific year where I think he was 5th place or 4th place and winning FBA Team of the Year at the same time. And he had told me in an interview that his ultimate goal at that stage was to win Team of the Year both in KCBS but in FBA. But where he was in Florida and the lack of number of KCBS contests, it was fairly impossible, or he was just going to have to do an incredible amount of travel. Wasn't able to get there, and then fell on some health issues. Started Outdoor Cooking Channel, of course, where the show showed videos for years and years. That's who Kevin Bevington is in a very quick nutshell. I'm sorry, Doug.
Yeah, and that's exactly. And I actually think the Outdoor Cooking Channel, as much as his 60 Grand Championships and everything he did with I knew he was a Team of the Year for one year, at least in Florida, but just from my past memory. But the Outdoor Cooking Channel, I think, was somewhat central, no pun intended, from the standpoint of you getting on the podcast portion of the show and the show being live, et cetera, and having an outlet to basically broadcasting every week. And how long were you with the Outdoor Cooking Channel? 3-4 years?
I was probably, I always think that everything is 2 or 3 years, so we were probably closer to 8 or 9 years probably.
Oh, okay, all right. So I just think he was instrumental in laying the foundation of you being where we are today, and I just wanted to recognize him. So those are my 5.
All right, those are your 5s. Next up is our gentleman from Michigan, John Solberg. John, let's talk about your 5.
Well, my 5, and I really appreciate everyone's 5. First of all, this is a tough game,
and this is fun too. I love hearing the names that maybe I wasn't expecting, or ones that I haven't heard in a while. Like I haven't heard Kevin's name in a while, or Fred Bernardo's in a while. I mean, you'll see him every once in a while on your great production, The Best Moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less. But to hear it in this form, in a Hall of Fame nomination form, is certainly heartening.
Yes, and this our task is large today. My list is pretty straightforward. I have Chris Becker on the list from cookingpellets.com. He's a phenomenal guest. I just think he's a super cool guy. I love it every time he's on the show. He's got one of the greatest kitchens going on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of my underdog on my list is Billy Carroll from Do-Rag.
Oh.
Billy Carroll is, in my opinion, the best in-studio guest you have ever had. And that could very well be the only time Billy's been on the show.
Yes, so, correct.
And there's probably only 50% of us on this call that even know who Billy is. I don't know that, but I'm guessing that.
Do-Rag.
Do-Rag. That's right. Yep.
Robin Lindars is on my list just because of her longevity, and maybe I should recluse myself from that one because we have a different business relationship. But she's been around since forever, and one of the original gangsters of barbecue and grilling food blogging. I got Heath Hall on my list, and that might be a head turner for a lot of people, but Heath Hall made barbecue cologne and was on the show. Heath Hall burned iPads in a grill to see how long they'd last. That was on the show. Heath Hall brought some amazing content, I think, to the Barbecue Central show.
Yep.
And my last of my 5 is Joe Beelan, Tippy Canoe. Just, I love listening to that. I could listen to that guy talk for hours. He's just so gracious. He's so fluent. Strong player in the history of barbecue, and has always been a great guest.
All right, that's John's 5. Let's go ahead and talk with Steve Ray from Tennessee and hear his 5.
Malcolm Reed, number 1. No brainer. Jack Arnold. Am I the only one that thought of Jack Arnold?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to speak for everybody else. We can quickly survey the dais here, but what I thought was going to be a hard list of 5 to get to quickly generated into 20 names for me. Jack was certainly on that list. I mean, he was a pretty big get for me. Was he on the first time last year, I think, or was it earlier this year? But that was a pretty big deal. He had a really large Instagram following. I was a pretty big fan of everything that he was doing. But you see all these other names. This is why I think we're doing it right, because we can look at our names and go, none of these names are wrong, but when is it going to be Jack's time, or when is it going to be this person's time? And if it's not this year, it could be the following year. Did anybody else, John, did you think of Jack at all?
No.
David, did you think of Jack?
Yeah, I definitely considered him.
Doug, did you think of Jack?
I did. He was in my list of 10, my final list of 10, but didn't make it.
Stover, think of Jack?
I think of Jack all the time.
I meant for Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame.
I don't know this. I wasn't aware of that guy, and then he was on your show, and then now he's everywhere in my mind.
All right,
I can't get rid of him.
All right, so Steve, you are Jack Arnold as after Malcolm Reed.
It was a good interview too.
Yeah,
sitting next to Austin Dillon, you got to interview as Jack. Man, that's pretty. Mo K-Song, Big Mo, Angel Todd, Doug, just like you.
Angel Todd, another one.
And here's the other one.
Yeah,
Pat LaFrieda. How can we leave out Pat LaFrieda? Are you there?
I'm here.
Pat LaFrieda.
That's your list of 5.
He's 6. That's 6. That's how you leave him out.
No. That's 5. That's 5. He doesn't have the numbers right on the document, but it's 5 total. Jack
Can
Arnold.
we hear his 7 list?
Malcolm Reed, Jack Arnold, Mo Kaysan, Angel Todd, Pat LaFrieda. That's 5. There we go.
My bad.
Yeah, Doug is having trouble counting again in Texas, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Didn't Steve originally submit 7 names?
7 names and 3 honorable mentions.
He never follows the rules. I'd like to point that out.
Person Sarah Lewis.
Yeah, who were your honorable mentions, Steve?
Christy Vanover, Jack Morris from Ace Hardware, a great interview.
Oh yeah, he was good.
And Sarah Lewis, the last day of her job.
Oh yeah.
All right. Hold on one second. I'm glad you mentioned that, Steve. I want to split the screen with you here. For those that don't remember, and I'm completely deviating, and I apologize. I had been working on setting up an interview with Steve's daughter, and it took a little while. She was very busy, travels a lot, and I didn't want to bring like Yeti in. And Stanley was making I don't know, Steve. Would you say it's a kind of a competing product? It's not roto-molded, but it's kind of a competing product. All that high price crap. So she did this interview from her house, and she had this huge product set up. Unbelievable. It sounded great. Great interview. Totally professional. Very impressive. And the day after, and Steve set it up for me, and I'm very grateful. And I wrote him back, and even, Sarah did great, blah, blah, blah. I'd love to talk with her. Maybe I could get Stanley to sponsor the show. And he wrote me back, and he's like, well, that might be hard because yesterday was her last day. She's left, and now she's going to work with North Face. And what? Let me tell you something. The level of professionalism, I can tell you this, that if somebody approached me to come on a podcast to talk about Peterbilt trucks, and today was my last day, and we were going to be recording tonight, there was no way in hell that I would be talking about Peterbilt trucks if I was going to do something else in a completely different industry. I would wind up with the beer flu or something else. But Sarah Ray Lewis was 100% professional, showed up, had the huge show of products. Steve, I'm telling you, it's still probably one of the most memorable interviews I've ever done because it was a great interview on its head in a vacuum. But then having left the company the following day was absolutely mind-boggling. You've done something right, Steve.
She's tough. Yeah. She's in Iceland right now.
No doubt. She's in Iceland?
Yeah, she and her husband are in Iceland.
Isn't Trump trying to buy Iceland right now? Run away! Wait, is that Greenland? I forget. We're buying everything.
Go to Greenland and turn.
All right. That is Steve's list. Now we have to go to David's list. All right, Dave, let me pull your list up. All right, go ahead, Dave, and talk about your list of 2019 nominees.
Sure. So I looked at this 2 kind of groups. One is the guest had one segment or multiple segments that I thought were just very good segments on your show. Uh-huh. Or 2, the guests themselves were such a big name in barbecue, such a big find for you to get them on the show that it showed kind of the respect that your show has within the industry.
All right.
So a couple different subjects there, or I should say Brad Orison and Brooke Lewis from The Shed. I just really liked their banter back and forth. I thought they were a great interview, pretty knowledgeable, obviously. I agree with two of the other gentlemen with Angel Todd. I mean, talk about knowledge and maturity beyond her years. I'm with Doug. I'm like, man, I almost want to cancel the correspondence segment and put it till the next week because I can't follow that. 17-year-old girl, I think that was just
16.
Unbelievable. 16. Okay. Chris Lilly. I mean, he's won Memphis in May 4 times. He's won
5 times.
I think it's the Royal. Is it 5 now?
Yep.
Okay. He's won the Royal. He's on TV all over the place. I mean, what a big name. And within the barbecue industry, I think, he's a more popular face than even Michael Simon. Paul Shoddy from Head Country. Just a great interview. Every time the guy comes on, I think he's knowledgeable about the industry, not just from the barbecue standpoint, but, Head Country sauce and products, and he has a restaurant. And then this is kind of a homer pick, but I thought when you just said, hey, Joe, I want to talk to you about something difficult. And I had a guy come into your restaurant and he said it was terrible. He handled that with such professionalism. He just went right to, here's how I'm going to handle it. Everyone's got their opinion. It's all good. Man, he handled it so well. I didn't feel quite so bad that you approached him with it. And then one that I didn't put on this list because I wanted to surprise people, and I know this is number 6. How is neighbor Desmond not on the list?
Because he's a horrible interview. That's why.
Well, he knows how to handle you, which has got respect from my book. So that's my nominees.
All right, David Huff from Oklahoma. Now we race out to the Pacific Northwest in parts unknown, and we get Stover's 5 lists. Stover, go ahead with your nominees for the Barbecue Central Show Guest Hall of Fame.
No, I'm in Portland, Greg.
Pacific.
It's not parts unknown.
Parts unknown.
I'm not in the woods.
Well, oh yeah. Have you seen yourself in the mirror?
Yeah.
You are fresh out of the woods, my friend.
Yeah, I'm going for something.
Oh, no doubt.
You're there.
The last time in my life I can let it flow. Let my freak flag fly.
Yes, it is high and stiff.
Well, you know what I did with my disgusting beard just before I got on?
No.
I put a bunch of mousse in it to make it stand out on camera.
Wow. Well, it looks great.
Why isn't Steve looking?
Steve's throwing up. That's why he's not looking.
Okay. Number 1 on the list is something I share with a lot of people here, and that's Malcolm Reed of How to Barbecue Right on the show is great. I love the way he talks about food, and I love the way he explains it. And it's one of my favorites. Everyone seems to be in agreement that Robin Grill Girl has provided a great spark to the show, actually. And ever since she moved to the Boondocks, it's gotten really crazy. Her stories of finding the best iguana recipe, hunting alligators, and all the other stuff that she's been up to is just fantastic.
You're a pretty courageous fellow. Would you be interested in getting your hands on iguana meat and letting it fly on the grill?
Yeah, I would do it. I did sous vide that thing.
Yeah?
I'd do anything with that. Yeah. I'd eat it raw, sashimi.
I don't think you want to do that.
No, but what would happen? Legionnaire's disease?
Maybe. At a minimum, Legionnaire's disease. All right, continue.
Okay. Susie Bullock, Hey Girl Hey.
Yeah.
Another standout. She was a first-time guest at the start of the year, and then she came back. Again, I like her recipes. They're really outside the box, of course, but it's fun to hear her talk about them. I'm going to throw an audible, too, because I actually think neighbor Desmond should be on the list. He is not a horrible interview.
He's a horrible
interview. Well, actually, you know what? This is the guest Hall of Fame, not the interview Hall of Fame, right? So he is a great guest because I'll tell you, there's no time in my life that my wife has ever sparked up at the show except for when Desmond has popped on.
Really?
And I'm serious. Yes, absolutely. Her and my mom.
That's when they tune in the most, is when neighbor Desmond.
Well, they don't. They always have to hear it sometimes when I'm playing it, but
right.
Yeah, Desmond's great. I mean, when he was sitting in, especially when Briskydorf was in,
yeah,
I mean that was fantastic.
Yeah, he was totally taken aback by Brisky. He still talks about it to this day, like he can't figure out what was going on. But
my favorite move is when he would pull out his phone and check his text messages in the middle of the show.
Yeah, people are like, Desmond, is this for real? You should run away and hide. White people are crazy.
No, the white wizard.
Yeah, white wizards are crazy.
Distinction.
Yeah, that's right. Not white people.
And then the last one, I mean, he would never want to be on this list at all, and you probably don't want him on here, but it's Mickey Key from Mana's Barbecue.
Who?
Mickey Key from Man is Barbecue.
No. You got that wrong. It's Mikey K from Man Meat Barbecue, Stover. Come on.
Oh, okay. Oh, I must have been reading it. No, okay. Yeah, well, I've been saying it wrong all these years.
Give this guy some respect for crying out loud.
He's the guy with the Meat Man hashtag, I think.
Yeah,
real memorable.
Yes, right.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't get much more memorable than that. And if people don't know, they can find the tape on your website.
That's right.
And it's there forever.
It's there forever because it's a nugget of gold. All right, that's Stover. So I think we've covered all the embedded correspondence. Let me give you my 5 here while we're up. Number 1 on the list. This is no specific order, by the way. Robin Lindars, of course. So she's got a number of votes. I also picked... what the hell am I doing here? Let me go back here. Let me change my view so we can go back to the grid. I also opted for Jamie Purviance. He is Weber's cookbook grilling guru. He's a great interview. I always have a thought in my mind that, and he's been coming on the show for years and years. He might be one of the oldest continuing semi-recurring interviews that has been with the show. I always think that he's going to be pretentious or a little stuffy. And then he comes on and he's totally down to earth and easy to talk to and brings a lot of good energy. And he's a totally great interview. But I think so much time goes between interviews with him, I fall back into my old mindset and go, oh, is he going to be, stuffy or what? And he's not. He's great. Totally worth the Hall of Fame. Also, I agree with some of the others. Darren Worth, Iowa Smoky D's. He is easily the winningest man in barbecue. He has won everything but Memphis in May. He actually tried to go to Memphis in May and put in a winning effort this year, although it did not come to his particular hopeful conclusion. But I would imagine that if he didn't give it just one shot and say, well, that's it, I tried it, I'm not going to do it again. If he tries to stick to it, he'll definitely win it here within the next 5 years, and then he will have won literally everything there is to win. Then I also went back into the history books a little bit. I said, why not a little Derek Riches? Everybody remember Derek Riches, right? He showed up once a month, and he was controversial at points. I remember on this show, we broke that huge story that Blue Rhino was ramming it up everybody's butt on the gas exchange where you had a 15-pound propane tank, but legally they were only filling it to 13 or 12 pounds. But they weren't telling anybody about it. And people were wondering, well, I'm going through gas a whole lot quicker. And he dug into it and realized that they were only filling up 13 out of 15 pounds. And then that's why you would hear on this show from time to time, I say, if you have someplace where you can bring the propane tank to, have them fill it up directly, because if you can hook up to it, you can go the full 15 pounds. That was his news break. And there was a bunch of other things that Derek and I talked about. And of course, there is was the breakup of the show because Derek and Meathead had an issue, or there was controversy there between who had the more popular barbecue and grilling website, and him and Meathead started to go back and forth, and Derek decided that he wasn't going to do the show anymore, and that was it. He did make appearance maybe 2 years ago, maybe it was, and hasn't been on since. More for my lack of reaching out again, but nevertheless, Derek Rich is certainly Hall of Fame worthy, in my opinion. And then, when we talk about guys that burned hot for 5, 6 years, maybe longer, that former team of the year, heavily sponsored team, when he came on the show, brought huge ratings each and every time. Rod Gray, Pellet Envy. Can anybody think about this guy? Still a lightning rod as he posts on social media, still gets a whole bunch of comments and replies back when he posts stuff on Facebook. I don't know how much competing he's really doing. I don't think he's really doing any winning because I haven't really heard anything about it, or how much competition events they're actually doing. But at the top of his game, there was nobody better than him. He was doing cooking classes with Johnny Trigg, old school versus high tech. Steve, I don't know if, did you take that class, Steve, at one point?
No.
No? Do you know who Rod Gray is?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure. So he was really kind of a spark that inspired a lot of people to get in and help people learn. So from a Hall of Fame standpoint, a guest, Rod Gray showed up, not a huge amount, but when he did what was it? A brisket or a pork butt round table, and it was Steve Farron, Does anybody remember Steve Farron? He was a all-time great competition cook. Steve Farron, Darren Worth, and Rod Gray made up the panel. They were 1, 2, and 3 KCBS back in 2009, and they sat down and did a no-holds-barred barbecue roundtable competition style, and it was absolutely fantastic. So that's Rod Gray. Now, we have to take a break before we get to announce our 4, and then we will start to talk about who our 5th person will be. So, stick around. Guys, break. I'm going to talk to everybody about Big Papa Smokers. That's our list. How do you like the list? Tell me, you people. React to me. Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for all things barbecue. They have a curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies. We'll get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Big Papa Smokers has everything you need to become a better outdoor cook. 13 perfectly balanced flavors that transform ordinary meals into extraordinary. Big Papa Smokers' award-winning rubs and seasonings will not disappoint. Pick up a bottle today at BigPapaSmokers.com. If you're looking to up the competition game, then you want to check out the West Coast offense. How do you get the West Coast offense? You go to BigPapaSmokers.com and order some Simply Marvelous barbecue rub as well. They also own Granny's barbecue sauce. If you're looking for a new go-to sauce that will please everyone, Granny's traditional yet powerful barbecue sauce is one you're going to want to check out. Go to BigPapaSmokers.com. Aside from the premium selection of rubs and sauces, Big Papa Smokers also offers the very best charcoal and pellet cookers available on the market today. Check out the Mac 2-star General Pellet Cooker. Big Papa's is the exclusive Mac dealer, and they even offer special packages. Not a fan of pellet smokers? Take a look at the Old Hickory Ace BP. It's the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer. Also, if you have any questions, come on, do this. 877-828-0727. You call them. If you have any questions, they will answer them. You'll feel confident. It's going to be great. 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727. Or shop the website at BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA Smokers.com. That is the most productive read I have ever done in my life, and you have no idea what I'm talking about. But I will reveal it here in just a second. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. I'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, the Smoke Sheet is a free weekly newsletter that keeps you in the know on everything happening in the barbecue world, including top news, events, recipes, and more, started by Ryan Cooper and Sean Ludwig. Both of them traveling the country to find the best barbecue and then report on it. You can sign up for the newsletter and see the full events at their barbecue calendar by going to bbqnewsletter.com. A great all-in-one resource covering the live fire industry. That's bbqnewsletter.com. All right, boys, we are back at it. We've revealed our top 5 each. But look at this.
A Barbecue Central Show exclusive news update.
Down here at the bottom left corner, Stover has shaved. Look at this guy. And you have the, what is that, a handlebar mustache, or what do they call that, Stover?
They call it the Yanni.
The Yanni, yeah, baby. Wow, I didn't know people actually tried for that look.
Yeah, I wanted to announce my new podcast, The Worst Barbecue Show, coming soon.
All right. There we go. Worst Barbecue. Here we go.
People think I'm joking, too.
Yeah, but we're not joking, are we?
No, I mean, you've heard of this restaurant that used to call it, or does call itself the worst barbecue, but it's actually good. That's kind of what I'm going for.
All right.
Sounds kind of the opposite of calling yourself good, but you're not actually good, you know.
All right. So let's do this. I am getting ready to reveal the 4 people that are legitimately in for the 2019 Barbecue Central Show Guest Hall of Fame in no particular order. First name in, Robin Lindars, the Grill Girl. Well deserved. Second name in, and no surprise, through many mentions here during our previous segment, Darren Worth, Iowa's Smokey D's pitmaster and greatest pitmaster of all time. Also in, first Tuesday of the month, guest How to Barbecue Right pitmaster Malcolm Reed, and Killer Hogs, by the way. He is in. And this is where it goes. If you were keeping track, it should be no surprise. 16-year-old Angel Todd, the SCA champ from Pittsburgh, cooking at the Hartville Hardware first ever Steak Cook-Off Association. And she made such an impression on our panel and myself that she made the cut and got voted in. However, that leaves 1 spot open, and we have to have 5. Otherwise, everybody's out, and you got to try again next year. No pressure, guys. So, Steve, give me your argue pick on who should be in.
Pat LaFrieda.
Pat LaFrieda. Do you want to make any further statements on Pat LaFrieda's behalf?
When he came on, he was he's big time. His business is huge. He's a big time guest. He's a big time get for you, and he brought the aged beef discussion to the forefront. He knows more about it than any guest you've ever had on your show, and he just is so interesting, and much more interesting than the other aged beef. You had the big green egg guy from Atlanta on.
Yeah,
he turned out to be a sham. Pat LaFrieda is
sham.
No names.
Wow,
rhymes with.
The Big Green Craig was his name, wasn't it?
You got it.
Rhymes with Big Green Craig.
Hey, he was on the Best Barbecue Show. I interviewed that
guy. All right, task at hand, gentlemen. Task at hand. Go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
That's good. I'm good.
All right, Stover, your argue pick.
I'm going to change mine. I was going to argue for Mickey Key because I don't think I was more entertained in that section. Mikey Key.
Mikey K.
Mikey
K.
Yes. Yeah, Mikey. K.
K.
Yes. Michael K. Mead. But I think I know this is horrible, but I've already made this segment about myself by shaving my disgusting beard into a disgusting mustache.
Yes.
I'm just going to vote for myself because I recorded that when it was on live, and I brought that to you, and I invented Brisky-Dorf.
What do you mean?
Those 2 things are pretty strong. I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. Why not? Give it a shot.
I can't include you because you totally just tore down the 4th wall of Brisky-Dorf. You gave that all up. That's terrible. I mean,
if people haven't figured that out by now, they either don't care, and that's fine, or they already have known. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's outrageous. I can't believe you did that. You're banned from the show, Stover. That's it.
They're going to forget. Don't worry. It's a 2-hour show.
All right. John from Michigan, your argue pick.
My argue pick is Billy Carroll, Do-Rag.
Wow.
But I'm hoping that we get a chance to revisit once we hear everybody's argue pick. And I kind of alluded to why I think Billy Carroll has an opportunity, but I would like to revisit it before we close out.
Okay. And David Huff?
My argue pick would be Chris Lilly. I think his accomplishments speak for themselves, and the ones that I went back and listened to, the segments were very good.
All right, I am going to argue pick Derek Riches because, again, I felt over the longevity of the show and the content that he brought to the show, and the fact that, still to this day, he has a very huge online presence and within the industry. I think a lot of people might be a little put off. He can be a little bristly. I met him in person one time. I have a unique ability to find redeeming qualities about everybody except maybe 2 people that I've ever met in my life, and no names, please. But Derek is a journalist first. Stover, as you know, journalists aren't there to be your buddies. They are there to do a job and report. That could come off bristly or a little abrasive, or throw in whatever adjective you like. But I thought Derek is certainly worthy of. So there we go. We have our list of 5 argue picks. Now we have to go through and pick who we think should be in the Hall of Fame. Doug, who should be in?
My argue pick was Kevin Bevington. I think he's laid a lot of the foundation of where we go, where we've been, where you are now. So that would be my pick. I could be potentially talked into Pat LaFrieda or Derek Riches.
All right, that's Doug. All right. So how do we come up with this final person? Do we put it to a vote?
We named 2 each. We named 2 each.
All right. Here we go. John from Michigan, 2 each.
2 each.
Yep.
Derek Riches.
Derek Riches. Okay.
And Derek Riches.
Really? You're off Billy Carroll?
I'm off Billy Carroll. I mean,
all right.
You got to go. Look, I mean, it's a compelling argument. You're right. I mean, he was on my long list. I've learned just as much from Derek Riches about what I do outside as anybody else on the planet. And he was a great guest for a really long time.
Doug Scheiding.
I'll go Kevin and Derek. Anybody that'll take on Meathead is good. That's good for radio.
All right. Well, Derek gets one more vote, and I think this has mathematically been wrapped up. Stover, your picks?
I'm gonna go with Pat LaFrieda. He was on my short list when I had a much longer one, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm gonna go with him. And I'm gonna have to stick with Desmond. Going back to Desmond, my favorite.
Desmond didn't make the list. It was Pat LaFrieda, you, Billy Carroll, Chris Lilly, Derek Riches, or Kevin Bevington. You have to pick one.
Only half I knew. So I'm going to go with Chris Lilly.
Chris Lilly. All right. Steve?
I saw him once across the street, Greg, at a party we were at together.
Oh, I remember. Steve?
Pat LaFrieda and Chris Lilly.
And Chris Lilly. All right. Wow. What now? Oh, my God. Wait a second. Oh, my God. Here we go. I'm running through all the sound effects. This is very exciting. As we sit right now, gents, Pat LaFrieda has 2 votes. Chris Lilly has 2 votes. Derek Riches has 3 votes. And Kevin Bevington has 1 vote. We turn to who will be the ultimate decision maker at the moment. David Huff. Your votes.
So I already said Chris Lilly. That one's out now, right? So
you can vote. You can vote for him, right? You can still vote for who you choose, right?
Well, yeah, I will make this even more confusing because I was going to say Chris Lilly and Pat LaFrieda. So
really, all right.
There's your 3-way tie, Greg. You decide.
Chris Lilly and Pat LaFrieda. So Pat LaFrieda, Stover is out. John, did you want to further argue Billy Carroll at this point, or is it moot?
No, it's moot. I'm sticking with Derek.
Billy Carroll is out. Kevin Bevington is out. We are left with Pat LaFrieda, Chris Lilly, and Derek Riches. It's only one. Boys, I hate to do this. Going in and rounding out the 5 Barbecue Central Show guest 2019 Hall of Fame members is, of course, Derek Riches. There you go. It's the 2019 class. The best guests of the Barbecue Central. That's so annoying. I think we've done it. So here we go. Let me fill it in so we can put a bookmark on tonight's show. That is Derek. Quickly, let's go around the interview table. Doug, if I reached out to Derek for an interview next week, do you think he would come on the show, yes or no?
I think so. Why not?
Stover, yes or no?
No.
David
you won't
Huff.
see your message for 3 weeks.
David Huff, yes or no?
Yeah, you're Greg Rippey. Hell yeah, you will.
Damn right. Steve Ray, yes or no? What was that?
No.
No, okay. John, yes or no?
I'd love to see it, but I gotta say no.
Really? Wow, that's a split party. I think he would jump on. Of course, he would jump on. You got to be kidding me.
I'd love to see him back on. He's one of my favorite guests ever, actually.
All right, here we go. Your top 5 officially: Robin Lindar's The Grill Girl, Darren Worth, Iowa Smoky D's, Angel Todd, who does not have a team name, but her dad's team name is Coming In Hot Barbecue. The 16-year-old steak cook-off champ in Hartsville Hardware out of Pittsburgh. Malcolm Reed, How to Barbecue Right, and the pitmaster of Killer Hogs competition team, and Derek Riches. That is your 5, the official Barbecue Central Show Guest Hall of Fame for 2019. Congratulations to everybody that is in. Wow, guys, we have done it, and unfortunately, we have taken all of the times that we have. So the good news is...
I ate that Subway for nothing?
No, the good news is we can review our notes next month and make sure that we are just as passionate about Arby's brisket and Subway brisket, or we have to go re-eat and realize the horror that we went through. I can see the excitement in everybody's face. Oh, my God. Most people have already hung up. No. So that's it. Doug Scheiding from Texas, thank you for your help this evening. Stover from Oregon, thank you for your help this evening. David Huff from Oklahoma, thank you for your help. Steve Ray, as always, thank you for your help from Tennessee. And John Solberg, our friend in Michigan, thank you for your help. It is the Embedded Correspondents. There they go. Away they go. Wow. We have a new Barbecue Central Show Guest Hall of Fame. T-shirts are in the printing. And, of course, the ever-popular $1,000 cash prize for all of the recipients. No. None of that. None of that. None of that. Maybe some year I can get somebody to sponsor the Barbecue Central Show Guest Hall of Fame. By the way, John, if you're listening, because I trust you implicitly with this, write down how we did this so we don't forget next year. I can't believe it was already been like a year, maybe a little longer since we did the 2019. Now we got 2 classes under our belt. All right, we will be back to wrap the show right after this. Stick around.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to the Embedded Correspondents and Stover for helping me generate what is now the official 2019 Barbecue Central Show Guest Hall of Fame class inductees. Robin Lindars from GrillGirl.com, Darren Worth, Iowa Smoky D's, Angel Todd, competitive steak cook and 16, 17 years old. Malcolm Reed, How to Barbecue Right, Killer Hogs competition team. Derek Riches from back in the day was about BBQ, and I think DerekRiches.com is his place of business at this point. Or you can find him online. I'm sure somebody will tweet or message him that he has made the Barbecue Central Show Guest Hall of Fame for the class of 2019 and will be very interested in doing a segment with me next week to talk about how great it is. In fact, I'll probably be reaching out to all of these people. Obviously, Malcolm will be in next week anyway, since it'll be the first Tuesday of a brand new month. Robin will be in a couple weeks after that, but Darren Worth, Angel Todd, Derek Riches will probably be coming in here fairly quickly to thank me for voting for the. Derek Riches should be thanking mostly for me, I think. All right, let's wrap it up. All the way back in the first hour, we spoke with George Moats, who I'm going to go out on a limb and say might be in the running for the class of 2020 best guess, but we'll see how that unfolds. GeorgeMoats.com if you want to check him out. At Moatsburger on Twitter. Thanks again to my embedded correspondents in the second hour as we got through the Barbecue Hall of Fame guest class for the Barbecue Central Show. That is Doug Scheiding from Texas. That is Steve Ray from Tennessee. That is David Huff from Oklahoma. That is John Solberg from Michigan. That is Stover Harger III from Oregon. And me, Greg Rempe. Great show planned for you next week, September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
Hi, this is Jeff Stone of Grandpa's Pride Barbecue from the Panhandle of Florida, and you are listening to the Barbecue Central Show.